Hi Aries, how are you? It's me, Lauren B. Welcome to the Untitled Tarot. I'm going to do your spread this week with a combination of the Spirit Animal Oracle and the Starseed Oracle. It's a cool little combination. I don't normally use this combination, but it's pretty nifty. I like it. I was sitting in your energy and I was doing the Shufflemancy, which is a playlist in the vault on my channel. So if you ever just want to see what Spirit wants to say to you through song, you just click the shuffle button. See what he has to say. You Got Kids by MGMT, and I've heard that song a million times. It's like a great song. That might be like a song that resonates with you on a certain level, and the lyrics, like I was listening to it, it came through in a different way for me today. And it matches up with your reading pretty much perfectly. And the lyrics go, "You were a child crawling on your knees toward it, making mama so proud, but your voice is too loud. We like to watch you laughing. You pick the insects off the plants, no time to think of consequences." And then the chorus goes, "Control yourself, take only what you need from it, a family of trees wanting to be haunted." And I've listened to that song a million times, and I always listen to the chorus almost as like advice, like control yourself, like don't take too much, like don't be greedy, like. And then I heard it today and it sounded different. It sounded like a chastising, right? It's like control yourself, like take only what you need, right? It's like, and then a family of trees wanting to be haunted. And for me, like a family of trees, like a forest, when you transition to the other side, there's a bunch of different ways that people can dispose of you, right? Not to get too graphic, but you could get buried, you could get cremated, you could get made into a diamond, you could get shot into the atmosphere, right? I've always said that there's a thing that you can do where they put you in like a pod and then they plant you as a tree. And I always said, like, instead of like a family like grave plot, I would want almost like a family forest. And so that stuck to me. That stuck out to me a lot, like a family of trees wanting to be haunted. There's something about your family. This reading feels about like you feeling a little bit maybe like the black sheep of your family, Aries. There's something in that. So I want to get into it because there's some stuff. There's some things, right? So, Father God, thank you for being here with me and my Aries today. I ask that you bless these messages and you cover these cards and you give me wisdom, clarity, and discernment to deliver these messages accurately. We love you. We thank you. We praise you always to the utmost high. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen, Aries. So, the first card that we have out for you, Badger Spirit. Be fearless and bold. This is how I see you, Aries, right? A little, almost like everything but the kitchen sink, right? Almost like a collection of idiosyncrasies, almost like a cornucopia of contradictions, right? Like really cute, right? Badgers are also, they're really, they're community driven. They work like with other people well. They're a really fundamental piece in like the ecosystem. So I feel like in terms of your family, maybe in terms of your job, your social group, like you are like the center spoke, right? It's almost like you're the sun, like things like gravitate around you. And with all of these sunflowers are a really beautiful omen. Sunflowers, when it's cloudy out, there's no sun, they turn towards each other for light and warmth. So again, it's almost as though like you are this like fun, sweet, really like community driven, like really like helpful, happy sort of person that people like to turn to, like when they need a pick-me-up, like when they need comfort, when they need a laugh, when they need all of these things, right? And it's almost like it's like almost quirky. There's something like kind of quirky about you too, right? Because the badger almost looks kind of serious, but then it's like you have this beautiful like little jewelry like in the center of your head, and then you have all these flowers, right? Which also talks about like rebirth and growth. Like it's like a really like fertile energy, almost like a Midas touch, like things kind of just like work out for you in like serendipitous ways. And then you have these like feathers too. It almost looks like a windmill. It looks like a windmill, and feathers are normally they're like signs from like your angels, right? So you are like kind of very like heavily like protected and guided, and you know, like feels like very favored by God and the universe and all of that. It's like a really sweet energy, and this is you, right? It's like be fearless and bold. I think this is like it's your natural state, right? She's like, be quirky and like shine bright like a diamond, like your own Rihanna song, right? And then you have it followed up by Swan, Time for a Deep Dive, and then Earthed. Now, again, this Badger Spirit, this is card number 4. 4s are a foundational energy. So at your foundation, at like your core level, this is really who you are. Now, number 6 talks about an energy exchange, equal energy give and take. And Swan, Time for a Deep Dive, this talks about your emotional body. that perhaps in always being like the happy-go-lucky one, like the party starter, that there might be like some situations, environments, or relationships around you that are affecting your emotional body that maybe like, you haven't been recognizing, that perhaps there's not like an equal energy exchange, that you are giving more to your friends, to your family. You're the one that they always call, like run to for help, right? But it's like if you don't feel as though those people are a safe place for you to go for comfort, it also feels like there's not a lot of like privacy, like some of the like you don't feel like you could go to your friends necessarily, or go like call your mom or like your sister. The word sister's coming out in my head. But like the people that come to you for help, you can't go to them for help. Or like if you were to open up to them and express yourself, you don't feel like whatever you would tell them would be held in confidence. Like they would go and talk to other people about it. There is that kind of energy that, you know, at your foundational level, like you are bold, you're bold, and you're fearless, and you're quirky, and you're warm, and you're loving, but you're not really getting that from all of the people. It doesn't have to feel like everyone, but it feels like from all of the people, like in your emotional life. And it might be a call to like kind of look into that, take like a little like bit of a stock on that. Now we have this Earth card, learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. And here you are, almost like dropped like a little egg, right? Right here on Earth with all of this beautiful like rainbow frequency, right? It talks about like your higher self kind of coming down here into the natural to like live this human life. I don't know if you have that feeling where it's like, sometimes you just feel like you don't like belong anywhere. Like you just don't like fit in, right? And that might be one of the reasons why you always like stick out. I know it's like such a cliche, but it's like, don't try and fit in when you were born to stand out. It is a little bit like that energy that sometimes it's like, wherever you are, whatever job, whatever room, whatever group that you're in, like people always like gravitate to you, but like you always feel like a little separate from them. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's how it kind of feels, right? It's almost like that I don't belong here. Like I feel like there's something more for me. It's almost like that I want to go home, but it's like I don't know where home is. It's like a little bit like that. It's like very much of an intuitive, empathic, like light worker, starseed, like kind of energy, right? Learning how to be in the world, but not of it. Just knowing that like at some core level, you're just like a little bit different from everyone else. Like you're just a little bit different from the rest of your friends, a little bit different from the rest of your family, right? Maybe you're just a little extra quirky. Maybe you just shine a little brighter, right? But there is that like kind of like a little bit of that like black sheep energy, but everybody needs the black sheep. Everybody needs the black sheep for something. Now we have these two cards, Use Your Mind Wisely and Rabid Spirit. Now is a lucky time. Pigs represent a lot of like innocent, it's very innocent energy for me as a reader, right? It talks a little bit about not being like super naive. We never want to assume, like we always want to like hope the best for everyone and give people like the benefit of the doubt, but also again back to the swan, this deep depth, also not be like naive to the fact, like use your mind sometimes and like kind of like again take that stock, like are people like taking from you more than they're willing to give to you, right? Or it's like, are people maybe smothering you? The word smothering is coming through to like overcompensate for something, or are people almost like kissing up to you because they want something, right? Because with this Rabid Spirit, again, like now's a lucky time. Like it feels like we're in Sagittarius season right now. So I feel like you're harnessing all of this fire energy like really well, because I mean that is your element. But we also have the 12/12 portal. We have this Sagittarius new moon eclipse coming up too on the 12th and then the 14th. So I think that it's like you really are coming into like a fortuitous time, like a breakout time for yourself. And energetically, people might not like realize it in terms of like spirituality and astrology and all that stuff. But energetically, it's almost like you're hot right now, right? It's like you're real hot. It's like you're like Alicia Keys, Aries. It's like you're on fire, and other people can sense it. Other people can sense it a little bit. Like they want some of your good juju. And it's about being a little bit mindful of that as well. Not that we can't be generous and shine our light and like be loving to people, right? But it is to just like be mindful of that, because some people like want some of your juice. They want some of your good juju, and like they're not willing to like pour back into your cup. And if you were, like I said, very intuitive, you're like a lighthouse, you're a light worker, you just have this like light that shines out from inside of you. If you're not mindful, some people, they can drain it, and then your light gets so dim, and then you can get like a little bit melancholy, you can get like a little depressive, you can get a little isolated, a little lonely, right? And then you get in that energy where you're like, get away from me, right? Set those huge boundaries instead of like learning those like healthy moments of what's the word? Detachment. Healthy times and moments to detach. Now we move into this I'm sorry card, right? Defenselessness, writing past wrongs, and uprooting. I'm getting two things with this card. One, there is an energy of perhaps in the past you've tried to like blend in with the crowd, like just kind of go with the flow, like not rock the boat, just like do what your family wanted you to do, just like almost just like keep the peace, like just to keep the peace. Like you don't really want to go somewhere, you don't really want to do something, but like your friends are nagging you, so you just like go and you just do it. Or like you don't really feel like you have the time or the energy to go like do this extra thing for your family, but you're like, I'm gonna hear it if I don't, so I'm just gonna go and I'm just gonna do it. It's like a little bit of this like compromising yourself, self-sacrificing yourself, too much energy. Part of this, like, I'm sorry, writing past wrongs, I think it's like you almost making peace with yourself, right? Like forgiving yourself a little bit for times where you like went too far to people please with other people, keep peace with other people at the expense of your own peace of mind. And there's the other side of this is also making peace with the past with other people, that energy of, you know what? They know not what they do, and even if they did, they probably don't know why they're doing that. They probably don't realize that they have some trauma, or they have some wounding, or there's something about it's a control issue. So they like they want me to be on their schedule, or they always listen to what they want to do, or that's why they want me to be like readily available for them when they need comfort, right? They don't realize that I need comfort and support and solidarity too. Like there's something about that, making peace with yourself for times where like you participated in like compromising yourself, like I said, at the expense of your own peace of mind to keep peace with other people, and also forgiving other people for times when they've done that as well. That way you kind of just like clean the slate a little bit for yourself. But once you do that, you move into the Porcupine Spirit, which is time for a beginner mind. Now this is like a new student energy. It's almost coming through like a page energy. And the cool thing about the porcupines, one, porcupines are adorable, but also they have these, I want to call them prawns, but I don't believe that's what they're called. But they have their little porcupines, right? They have their little stickies. That's a very professional word, stickies. They have their little pokies, right? And that's part of their defense mechanism. Again, it kind of is going back to this pig spirit of establishing like boundaries, or letting people know like kind of like when they've pushed you a little bit too far, being able to be like open and loving and quirky and bold and all this great stuff, but also knowing like these are my boundaries. Like no means no, I can't come help you, no I'm not what are you saying to me? I don't like that. I'm not gonna say that. No, I'm not gonna say that. No. But that threw me off. I didn't like that very much. I'm arguing with my guys. Nevertheless, but just letting people know what your boundaries are, Aries, right? Like that you're not like, I just heard for sale. Like you're not for sale. Like it's like some things are non-negotiable for you, right? That's really important for you. Now, this is where things got kind of fun. We have double mission, Lightworker Starseed, serve the world by being you. This comes back to the Badger Spirit, right? That, again, there's something that I feel like is a little bit different about you in comparison to your family, in comparison to your friends, to your social group. And maybe you haven't been able to like put your finger on it, right? Why you just feel a little bit different is because, again, you're probably an empathic and intuitive. Part of what like your mission is, what you like agreed to do when you came down here on Earth, as part of like your soul contract, is to like let your freak flag fly, because in that expression of your individuality, you're actually doing energy work. And what that means is like when you walk in the room and you're like dancing and you're singing and you're like doing your fun little thing, right? Just like doing your thing, that creates like a ripple effect in the frequency, in the vibration. You're creating hope and you're creating joy and smiles and laughter and comfort and love. And that's part of like light worker work, right? That's part of being like a starseed. It's to be a lighthouse, to like spread the love, spread the light, like do the thing. Not that you don't have like bad days. We all got bad days. I just got in a 30-second argument with my guides. Like it happens, right? But there's something in that you're different because you're supposed to be different. It's part of your soul contract. Then we move into the hummingbird spirit, be here now, right? It's like, don't run away from it. Again, it's like this compromising, like kind of wanting to fit in a little bit, not wanting to stand out, like stand out enough, but not like stand out so much that then you feel like outside of the group. There is this energy of wanting to like be included in the group, right? And they're like, don't run away from this feeling when you're like, I'm a little different. Maybe I'm different for a reason. Maybe there's something special about me. Yeah, there is something special about you, Aries. Sit in that. Don't get scared of that, of what that means for you, and then run away. be here now. Because a hummingbird is also, again, a symbol of fertility, just like this rabbit spirit, right? Like when you lean in to like your weirdness, right? The thing that makes you a little bit different from everyone else, the thing that makes you a black sheep, that's when the magic happens for you. That's when like you really start cooking. You really start cooking then. And again, a lot of this feels social. I'm not picking up a lot of romance in this at all, but a lot of this feels like your family. And then I was sitting here thinking about that, and I'm listening to the MGMT song, like control yourself, right? And that's what I feel like your family is kind of doing to you, or even some of your friends. They're like, control yourself, Aries. Like, you're too extra. Like, you're too much. Like, you're too weird. You're too quirky. And then I started thinking about that show, Family Matters. Family Matters. And then like Steve Urkle, right? And it's like Steve Urkle was the neighbor. He wasn't necessarily like in the family, but like he was part of the family, right? And he was like the weird one. Like, he was like Calamity Jane. He was always like clumsy. He was always breaking stuff. He was always being silly. Did I do that? Right? But like he was beloved. He was the most beloved member of that show. And I think towards the end, he ended up going to some weird time capsule, and then he became like Hot Steve, right? Like there's something like I've seen before. It's like you're hot right now. Like you're about to go in your portal. It's like feeling a little bit like a black sheep to your family, even though it's like they always need something from you. It's like, well, if there's something so weird with me, then like why are you always coming here like needing stuff from me? It's a little bit like that. It's like they sense you're about to go into like your little portal and become like Hot Steve. It's a little bit like that, but in that strangeness, like you are beloved, right? I mean, moving to the Seas of Mintaka, seeing potential, bring unconsciousness to light. And I love how this backs up against this hummingbird spirit, right? Because it's almost like as you kind of are sitting in the present of like the actualization of like who you really are, which is different and which is special, right? Sorry, Aries, my camera cut off. It's giving me trouble these days. But so we have the Seas of Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. And then the I Remember card, soul plan, the fated life versus the destined life. There might be a moment if you're like sitting listening to music, kind of like how I was, or like in a form of meditation or something like that, yoga. I'm getting like a yoga vibe out of this too. The water represents the unconscious, the emotional realm, also like the spiritual realm, that there might be something that like you want to do. Maybe it's like you want to make music. Maybe it's like you want to start a business. Maybe it's like you want to drive across country in an RV or hike the Pacific Crest Trail. Like it feels like there's something that you want to do that's been on your mind that you haven't done or you haven't considered doing because it would be so different from what everyone else around you is doing, or everyone would have something to say about it, or they would criticize it. There's an energy like that, right? But there's something about like your destiny at play, about you doing something that's so uniquely you, that is like capitalizing on the fact that you are different a little bit than everyone else, kind of like in your wheelhouse, and there's something different that you want to do, right? I think the last reading I did for you was like almost like you like psyching yourself up in your car, like, oh, I don't want to go back into this job, like, oh, I don't want to go into that party. Like, it's like a little bit like that. Like, there's a part of you that wants to like separate and do something different, and you've been thinking about it, but you haven't been doing anything about it, right? It's like, I don't want to stand out anymore. Again, it's like trying to kind of fit in with the crowd, but it seems like it's something that is really important for you to do, that your soul keeps calling for you to do, especially through the last couple readings that I've done for you. And I think coming up, like I said, to the 12/12 portal and the new moon eclipse on the 14th, that it's really gonna like heighten up this energy for you to do this. And part of it might be because it's so different, or it's so unusual for you to do as well, that you're also a little bit like, how am I gonna make it? How am I gonna survive doing that? How am I gonna pay my bills, right? It's like, it's such a long shot, like how is it ever gonna pay off? And then we have the Buffalo Spirit, which is also a little bit of like a tower, like a thunder card, right? It's like that surprise sort of energy. The abundant universe will provide. That when you are actually like walking in your purpose, that like somehow, some way, God, your angels, the universe, they provide your provisions for you, opportunities, serendipitous situations, right? Like out of the blue, how did that work out for me? Because it's supposed to, because you're walking in your purpose, right? You're doing that thing that your higher self, your soul is calling you to do, right? There's something about like your provisions as well, because it's a very earthy, natural card, that you're afraid to kind of do it because it seems like so unusual. Like, how's that gonna happen, right? Well, because God's gonna make it happen for you. That's what he does. He puts these dreams in your heart, right? He puts these ideas in your mind, and they percolate and they percolate. We wonder why. It's because it's part of what he wants you to do, and he never tells you to do something without the complete and total promise to help you do it, to help you bring it to completion. So that's something that I think is important to note as well. Then we have Dolphin Spirit, like this and that are true. Like, yes, it's going to be different. Yes, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable for you. Yes, the realization that like you're unique for a reason. You are the Steve Urkle for a reason, right? I mean, it's a little weird, but what's also true is that you're supposed to be. There's something special that you're supposed to do. There's a certain kind of impact that you're supposed to have in the world, and you can't keep running away from your purpose because it's easier just to like almost like sit around with the muggles when like you're supposed to be Harry Potter. It's like you're not the rest. I forget what the name of the family in Family Matters. Was it like the Williams or something? It's like you're supposed to be Steve Urkel. You're supposed to go in that weird little time capsule and like become hot Steve, but you're still Urkel, right? It's like you're still clumsy, you're still goofy, you're still silly, you still have all your idiosyncrasies, right? Then we move into the lizard spirit, dream the world into being. And something that's interesting to note about lizards is that sometimes they lose their tail. Sometimes they lose their tail, but they grow it back. It's that regeneration sort of energy that like, yes, you might lose a couple things like along the way. Some people might be like, too weird, Aries, gotta go. Like, I don't like that, Aries, gotta go. Oh, you're not gonna do that favor for me, Aries? You set that boundary? Gotta go. Like, you might lose some things, right? But like what you gain in return, in replacement, will be so much better for you. It will be so much more satisfying for you and allow yourself to really expand and grow in the ways that like you really are supposed to, because you also have karmic relationships, Orion growth, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. It might cause a conflict for you when you say no to some of these people. You go, no, I'm gonna move. No, I'm gonna quit. No, I'm not coming. No, I can't do that for you. I gotta go be fearless and bold. I gotta take my sunflowers and I gotta get on the road, right? Like there's something more for me in this world. Like there's a potential in me that I'm not tapping into, and I have to know what that is before I leave this world, right? I'm learning how to be human. I'm in this world, but I am not of it. I'm a little freak for a reason. Like let me get my freak on, right? And then the last card that you have in your reading is called Soul Gifts and Training. It's time to step up. It's time to stop doing an injustice to yourself because you want to fit in with everyone else. You were born to stand out. You were born to do something different and special and unique and have a unique impact. We all have purposes. God has a purpose for all of us, but you can't keep ignoring yours. And just because you shine so bright, you're so quirky, right? People want to make fun of you because you're Steve Urkel and they want you to control yourself, right? Because they want you there so they can take what they need from you. It doesn't mean that that's what you should be doing, right? Allow yourself to stand out. It's time to like step up and do justice to yourself, to really live in your purpose, to really live in your calling, to really follow those gut instincts that tell you you're supposed to be going somewhere or doing something or becoming a version of yourself that's different than what you ever thought, that's different than how people know you or what they expect of you, right? It's about what God expects of you. It's about what you expect of yourself. It's not about other people anymore. It's about you, Aries. Family matters, but so do you. So this was your reading. We're gonna take it over onto the Patreon and do the extended, see if we can refine this message for you a little bit, probably with one of these tarot decks, maybe the Light Seers. If you're coming over to the Patreon, I will see you very soon. If not, I love you very much. Thank you for joining me. All the information you will need from me, personal readings, Instagram, decks, all that stuff, that's all in the description box. So until I see you next time, I love you. Stay prayed up, stay blessed, stay bold.